Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic, Non-Classic. This is episode number 1721 and Doubleshot number 1615. Once again, a physical and digital book. This time, both Marvel. First up it is, X-Men / Avengers Onslaught, Book 2. This book collects issues 34, 35 of the original line for Cable. Incredible Hulk, 444, 445. Wolverine, 104. X-Factor, 125, 126. Amazing Spider-Man, 415. Green Goblin, number 12. I'll discuss that. Spider-Man, number 72. X-Men, 18 and 19. X-Force, 57, 58. X-Men, Volume 2, 55. Uncanny X-Men, 336, and Iron Man 332. Let's talk about that one first. Iron Man 332. That is actually the final issue of the original volume for Iron Man. And people will not see that original number again until 13 years later when Iron Man hits 500. Yes, it was... Yes, I believe it came out in 09 if I'm not mistaken. That particular was done by Matt Fraction, remember that. Well, you would not see the return temperature numbering again until, for a long time. Until, 2011. I thought it was 2009. My mistake. So it took 15 years to have another one of these particular issues. And this issue is also noteworthy, not only being the final issue of the first volume of Iron Man, it is also the final appearance of teenage Tony Stark. Yes, it is the final appearance of the character. You're probably thinking, wait, why is the final appearance? Because after this character never is seen ever again. I think Marvel must have realized their mistake and bringing this character in because he is never seen again. This is the teen Tony Stark. Well, you could say he died. Yeah, you could definitely say that. Yeah, so technically the last time anybody saw him was basically a one-shot. We'll discuss in the next trade for this one. And they kind of mentioned he was merged with Iron Man. Yeah, they explained this in the Avengers 2000. You're thinking, really? Yeah, really, he was. Which is kind of weird. The fact that that's basically where it is. This character was not around very long. Barely a year. At best. He was around comic time. Yeah, he was not around very long. Not really, no. It seems like as soon as basically this book wrapped up, it'd be a small handful of appearances. Yeah. I think because, and this is my personal opinion, I think the reason why Marvel just simply got rid of this character was because he was not popular with a lot of people. People hated this. Where's Tony Stark? Yeah, mostly put for the final issue, just him basically with Onslaught stuff. And then he next appears in Avengers 402, and then he pops up in that one-shot Onslaught Marvel Universe, and that's it for him. Yep. In the case of Cable, you have him take on frickin' the Hulk for a couple issues, along with taking on Apocalypse. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. The fact he takes on the Hulk. And yes, you might be asking, was the Incredible Hulk at this point written by Peter David? Yes, it was. Yep, both issues of this book written by Peter David. Now, of course, Cable was done by Jeff Loeb. Yes, seriously. Cable is done by Jeff Loeb. Yeah, he was the regular writer for the book for quite a while. Yep. Let's see. How long was he the writer of Cable? How that was just for the Onslaught tie-in. Now, people mostly know him for other stuff, but yeah, he wrote Cable, which seems quite interesting. The fact he wrote Cable. He first came in the book with issue, 15 was technically the first issue he wrote, but came fully with issue 17, and he stayed for quite a while. His last issue he ever did, let's see. He did it up until issue 39. So yeah, not a very long run. So I'd say about 24 issues that he stayed in the book, because with Cable 40, he's replaced by Todd DeZico. Yep, that is who's the writer of the book from that point forward after he leaves. And he himself was not there very long. It seems as though as soon as Loeb left, like, anybody who stays in this book does not have a really long run. Not really, no. But I'll discuss more about that later on when I ever do a Cable retrospective. Yep. So, awesomeness, he takes on the Hulk. Ian Churchill does his artwork. You're thinking, Ian Churchill? You mean the guy who half the time can't draw a woman properly? Yeah. He draws his artwork, and then all of a sudden goes from fighting Green Hulk to fighting the Gray Hulk. Yep. And plus, there's no, like, the whole thing with Gray Hulk. See Classic Hulk, Incredible Hulk 377. Yep. Storm is here too, take on the Hulk. And then he turns back to Green Hulk. And then, of course, very next issue of Cable, 335, that's when he takes on Apocalypse. Probably one of the many times he does. And then we move on to Incredible Hulk 444. Love this logo. For Incredible Hulk, it's my personal favorite logo of his, because this logo, believe it or not, has actually been around since the 60s. Like, I love the rockiness. It looks so awesome. It looks definitely Hulk. I think it's their logos. It just basically not exactly like, oh, look, we have Betty Page. Yes, a character who actually has had a comic book. You might be thinking, did Mara publish the comic book? No, I think Dynamite published it. Yep. Yeah, more fighting. Now it seems like this Hulk thing is like on the side. Then we have, some pages from Excalibur 100. Yep. Fun fact about this issue. 25 issues later, this book would end. Yeah, 2 years later. Yeah, the whole thing with Onslaught here, just here for a few pages. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, only 6 pages. And then we switch over to Wolverine, where he teams up with Elektra of all people. Yes, Elektra. Now, despite the fact that Onslaught's going on, it's just a standalone issue. Just Wolverine meets up with Elektra. And then him, of course, saving, and of course, him finding about Onslaught, remembering what happened during the events of Fatal Attractions. Yeah, basically, he's become somewhat, not exactly a man, per se. And then move on to X Factor 125, which, yeah, they include both this part and the next issue they have in this trade, they have 126 as well. Yeah, it's basically X Factor's involvement with Onslaught. Now you're probably thinking, which version of X Factor is in this issue? The Government Incarnation. Yep. is technically the third ever incarnation of X Factor. Well, actually, the second one, because the fourth one basically is the one right now, the Krakatoa version. Because the original one was a private corporation. Actually, the current one is more like the fifth version. Because first you have a private corporation run by Angel, World War III, and you have this version, you have the private investigative version. You have another private version, which only has just a brief ongoing series, and didn't much appear after that. Then you have the current of Krakatoa. Yep. And Havoc is wearing this weird looking attire. Yeah, this is Havoc's look for this time. Yeah, I do not know why he put this look. And also, Mystique was on this roster. Yes, Mystique was part of X Factor. Yeah, and also this thing in the book where she had a real brief relationship with Forge. And that seems quite strange. And it is. Yep, it's mostly put just X Factor dealing with Sentinels and various other stuff here. Yep. And then, of course, do more stuff in issue 126, which I put right after this one. I'm not really sure why. It's the only time I could, one of a few times I basically done this where they put the very next issue in like the next thing. Then we have a meanwhile in Spider-Man number 8, we have the Sentinels make a brief one-page appearance at the end of the issue, and then we have Amazing X-Men 415 and Spider-Man 72. I've technically talked about the issues already in my, I think it was the Complete Ben Riley Epic trade. I'm going to skip over these issues. These two are really good tie-ins for of course, Onslaught. Green Goblin. Okay, this is actually Phil Urich. He is the only person who tuned into Green Goblin who became a hero. There have technically been 5 Green Goblins. 5. Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, Phil Hamilton. He was actually Harry Osborn's psychiatrist. He was a very brief Green Goblin. Phil Urich, and there is the unknown one who was actually a robot. Yeah, and he's dead. Yeah, he's one of the two who's actually one of the 3 is currently dead. Yep. And this issue, now this is a series is mostly done by Tom DeFalco. Yep. Mostly put for this one, basically you have Phil finally acting like a true hero, where he ends up sacrificing his own equipment to take down Signal Sentinel. Yep. And then the very next issue, series ends. The very next issue. Yeah, by far one of the only tie-ins, probably the only tie-in book where the very next issue comes out for the book is the final issue of the series. I have heard the reason why that the series was canceled. Low sales. That's the reason I heard. Low sales. Then we come to the X-Men tie-in. And written by Terry Kavanaugh. Yeah, mostly put, basically you have a little bit, you have been working with X-Force to deal with the Marauders. Yes, the Marauders. Yeah, the group of, like, hunters that basically that were created by Sinisters that killed the Morlocks back in the 80s. Yeah, mostly work with them to take on them. And you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with Onslaught? Nothing. Basically, just them taking on Mr. Sinister for a couple issues. Well, and then leads into X-Force 57, which picks up right where that issue left off because, well, it's a mini crossover event, so I guess they figure, though, it's kind of part of it, despite the fact there's nothing much to do with Onslaught here. No, not really. Then we cut over to X-Men 55, the sole issue of X-Men in this whole trade. Yep, the only one. And look at that logo. That's Onslaught Phase 1. Basically, there are several phases. This is basically Phase 1 of the crossover. Page turned outside. Basically, the X-Men are assembled to take on Onslaught. And of course, also it's revealed that Onslaught has kidnapped Franklin Richards. Yep. And he's got his own base, which you have for pretty much the rest of the storyline. Yes, Onslaught, whose own henchmen are a group of Sentinels. Yep. And we lead directly into Uncanny X-Men 336. Which, now I should point out that Liddell does write the Uncanny X-Men issue. Who writes X-Men, you might ask? Plus, you gotta love this page of the Avengers Fantastic Four team up. Also, here's a little fun fact for you: when they started the Fantastic Four volume, they actually wore those very attires at the start of it. Yeah, this X-Men issue is done by Mark Waid. Yes, Mark Waid does this excellent issue. So aside from basically preparation, it's mostly just deals with setting up the very next issue, the part of this crossover, which is the stuff with, well, the X-Men. And then you have Apocalypse standing next to, well, working with the Watcher, watching all of this. Yes, Apocalypse. Who you probably would think he probably for this. Not really. Well, kind of, yes. Very minorly. Yeah, and then we have several Avengers who were injured during the fighting, being taken care of at the Four Freedoms Plaza, which I love this place. It's something, though, that the Thunderbolts destroyed it, like, as soon as the heroes came back after the events of Heroes Reborn. Mm-hmm. So, then Apocalypse and the Watcher agree they have to contact X-Men. And then we lead into, finally, Cable 35. Where you have Cable take on frickin' Apocalypse. And plus, I should point out that I love this Apocalypse design. It is classic Apocalypse. For a lot of people, this is the definitive look for Apocalypse. This also, I think, was also the first time that Susan Richards actually has taken on Apocalypse. I'm sure she's probably heard about him, but never thought of it before. Mostly pushed him with him mainly because of, well, her son being kidnapped. And then we lead to X-Force 58. Mostly just a soccer issue, focus on Sunspot. Yeah, that's mostly what this issue is. Just a standalone issue. Not much to do with the event itself. There's a little bit of Onslaught here. He's mostly like a minor thing in the story. And then it says Cable returns. He reunites beginning of the Shadow Stars saga. Okay. And then you have X-Men number 19. Yeah. With more Mr. Sinister stuff. Yep, Mr. Sinister. More Mr. Sinister because we have the Mr. Sinister. And finally we deal with Onslaught in this book. Yeah, it's almost like Onslaught is not really a big player in the X-Men tie-ins. He's mostly just there as a background thing. Then we get back to Incredible Hulk 445, which, gotta love this cover. This cover is a clear homage to the Avengers #1. Yeah, you can clearly tell that. Yeah, it's clear homage to it. Let's see if I can point it out, though, on here. Let's see if I point out the fact this cover is a clear homage to... Nope, it's not pointing out here, but yeah. This cover is a clear homage to Avengers #1. Mm-hmm. Great cover. Yep. Yeah. And Hulk plays a big role in the story. You thinking, really? The Hulk does? Yeah, he plays a big role. By the way, he breaks through Onslaught's fortress and beats the living crap out, basically smashes his body. And then we lead into the final issue of Iron Man Volume 2, not Volume 2, Volume 1. Where it's mostly put just teenage Tony Stark just taking on a Sentinel. And of course deal with the Avengers here. And most importantly, the next time you will see the storyline continue would be in of all books, Avengers 402. I gotta say, for book 2 of this event, it's really good. I thoroughly enjoy this event. Nothing really bad about this crossover. I get the fact this particular crossover's reputation for being not that good. I'm enjoying this, basically rereading this. I read this a time ago, but man, just so freaking good. Alright, next up, the reason why I'm discussing this book here, because I have book 2. I'll discuss that probably in a later video. I don't have time to do it right now, because I'm probably going to be leaving really soon. I have to go to church. I'll probably discuss it later. We have Deadpool by Joe Kelly. The complete collection, book 1. This book does contain the first 11 issues of Deadpool, along with Deadpool / Daredevil Annual 1998. Now, the first issue, I'm not going to discuss this one because I technically have discussed this issue already in Deadpool Classic Volume 1. Yep. So I'm going to skip over this issue and go straight to issue number 2. I think I've discussed this issue a couple times now. Now, yes, Joe Kelly is the writer of these issues because it's called the Joe Kelly Complete Collection. Yeah, he actually would write this run for about 33 issues. Yeah, 33 out of 69 are written by him. So the remaining 36 are not done by him at all. Nope. Yeah, mostly both of these issues we just have like the debut of Blind Al, who in the movie it was played by Nicole Nichols. Yep. Do you think it really? She was. Because I believe that the next... Let's see. Yeah, Blind Al does make a first appearance in the very first issue of this run. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she's here for pretty much the entirety of Joe Kelly's run for the book, though she makes sporadic appearances since he wrapped up his run for the book. Yeah, it's like that's kind of one thing I've odd about her is that she's here for Joe Kelly's run as a regular supporting character, and then like she makes like 2 appearances, more appearances like that were very sporadic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly with Weasel. By the way, Deadpool's attire this time looks like this. Yeah, not the look he has right now. Oh no, they gave him a few updates over the years. Yeah, mostly put just, well, Deadpool being Deadpool for all these issues. And then you have Cyrene, who he basically forms a brief romance with. Yes, seriously. The artwork for these issues are mostly done by... Let's see if we can find him here. Yeah, it's mostly, I think, like one artist a lot of the time. It's these are your artists for this. You have Ed McGuinness, Aaron Lepsey, Bernard Chang, Pete Woods, Sharon Ditton, John Mears Sr. Yes, John Mears Sr. worked on this thing. Well, there's a reason why. Kevin Lau and John Fung. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is basically about the misadventures of Deadpool. It's basically what we have here for the first 11 issues with romance. And they have issue 4 where he teams up with the frickin' Hulk. Which, by the way, they actually spoofed this image in the Hulk vs. Wolverine movie. Yep. But this book is just pure fun. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of really good humor on the part of Joe Kelly, basically, you have in these trades. You have these issues. Mm-hmm. They also have, almost forgot this happened, -1. Yes, -1. Which is done in the style of Jim Steranko. Of Jim Steranko's Nick Fury, which this cover is a clear homage to Nick, I think it was a Nick Fury trade, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. This is mostly done by Aaron Lepsey. Yep, Aaron Lepsey does his artwork, which is really, really good. Mm-hmm. Yep. Then you have Vamp. A character named Vamp. Who pops up for issue number 6. She is a character Roy Thomas created. Yeah, she pops up for Deadpool. I believe she's just a clone. Yeah. Aside appearing in this one issue, she appears in issue 0. And that was the last time she was seen. Because she only made like very few appearances. She's actually dead. Yeah, Vampy is dead. I mean, she died in Captain America 319. That was technically her death. And then she comes back here as a clone. Yeah, that's most what issue 6 does. Just sets up for the issue 0, which has basically lots of clones. Yes, clones. And then you have him working with Typhoid Mary. And then we have basically a spoof of basically when Mary Jane met Peter Parker. It says, face it how you hit the jackpot. Come here and give Typhoid Mary a kiss. And Deadpool's like, mercy. I'm like, if I'm Deadpool, like, dude, Deadpool, you have the hot Typhoid Mary basically offering you to give you a kiss, and nope, they don't kiss. The very next day, basically start a brawl. They flirt with each other, and it does lead into the events of the Daredevil / Deadpool annual. Yes, one of two he had it the same year, and then after that, he'd have an published again for a long time. Now, in the case of the Daredevil part of this one, yeah, this actually was the first one since annual number 10. This was also his last annual for almost a decade. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure why in the world this was. Like, they team up for this annual, and then Deadpool has another one, and that's it. Yeah, 2 annuals the very same year, and these were the only 2 annuals he had for this volume. Just one teams up with Daredevil, and the other teams up with Death herself. Yep. It's a really fun annual. Interesting having Joe Kelly write Daredevil. And then we continue more Typhoid Mary in the main book itself. Yeah, it's almost implied though Typhoid Mary may have a thing at this point for Deadpool, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Because currently she's married to the Kingpin of Crime. Yep, currently, as of recently, she got married to Wilson Fisk. Because why not? And after dealing with that for a few issues, then he's back to his own stuff. And then he deals with the Great Lake Avengers issue number 10. Yes, the Great Lake Avengers in issue 10. Yep, he deals with them. What takes them on? Well, more Typhoid Mary, because of course Typhoid Mary, because she's a kind of recurring character in this book. Then we have issue number 11, which is a clear homage to Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Deadpool. Not Deadpool, Spider-Man. And you have guest appearance by the frickin' Watcher. And then, of course, we have him go back in time to Amazing Spider-Man 47. Which involves, well, of all people, Kraven the Hunter. And then they put the actual original issue in here just to present it as originally was before it was altered by Deadpool. Yep. Yeah, they included in here the entire issue done by Stan Lee and John Romita Sr., the original issue, as basically originally was, without Deadpool there. Yeah, most of it 11, just basically him time traveling to this very issue, and that's it. Yep. For the start of this run, it's really good. And I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Okay, so that's it for particular review. Stay tuned for a review later on today. We'll discuss the next volume for this trade series and the next volume for X-Men / Avengers Onslaught. And I'm also going to do one review when we wrap up my run for talking about Avengers Volume 3. You'll discuss the 2 videos from now. Okay? Next video. Bye.